Man approached an officer who was directing traffic at a church and confessed to the crime. They say the shooting happened inside a home here on Miramount Place in Woodstock. Natalie Rubino live on the scene with what happened. Natalie.
Mike, it's not very often that somebody approaches an officer and confesses to murder, so investigators say this is a very unusual case. The scene here is still pretty active hours after the murder happened. Investigators are inside collecting evidence. I'm told the body is also still inside. We've also seen a lot of neighbors outside in the neighborhood today. They say they're in total disbelief that something like this happened here. A home in a quiet Woodstock neighborhood roped off with crime scene tape is leaving neighbors on edge after police say a man admits to murdering his stepson.
Shock. I mean, I didn't know anything, bad about the kid, and I didn't know the family other than, in a neighborly way. So all of this is just a major shock for all of us.
Cherokee County Police say Carl Lewis approached a cop working traffic at First Baptist Church. He told the officer that he shot his son and didn't know if he was still alive.
Typically, we don't have a lot of people coming up to us and telling us they've committed a murder or any crime, really, for that matter.
Investigators aren't releasing the name of the victim, but say he was 19 years old and just finished his freshman year at West Georgia University.
We knew them and spoke to them, and their son, would come to our house and sell stuff for their football program, and he was very nice to my son, and just a nice young kid.
Another who asked not to go on camera tells me the family had problems, and Lewis was kicked out of the house many times. I'm also told that a younger sibling also lives inside the home here. Lewis was arrested and charged with murder and aggravated assault. Mike, we're going to continue to follow this story, and we'll bring you the latest details as they become available to us. For now, I'm live in Cherokee County. Natalie Rubino, CBS 46 News.
Natalie, thanks. Right now, we're following new developments in a house fire that killed a teenage girl. These flames also badly burned a teenage boy, sending him to the hospital. Now, police are telling us somebody torched the home on purpose. Dante Renzulli joining us now live from the scene in Marietta with the very latest. Dante?
Well, Mike, police are now confident that the fire behind me at this house was no accident. The only question left, who's responsible? Now, I spoke to neighbors who heard the father of the victims on the phone with someone right before this fire started, yelling that his children were asleep inside and he couldn't get in the house.
We seen everybody standing out in their driveways, and you just instantly knew something was wrong.
Witnesses describe seeing this raging fire where a teenage boy was burned and his 14-year-old sister lost her life.
We come around and house is on fire and cops are arresting somebody.
From the very beginning, police were suspicious of how it started, and they immediately took the victim's father in for questioning. Neighbors say they smelled a strong odor of gasoline, and the ATF tells me their dog picked up the scent of flammable liquids inside.
The fella who rented the house, which I do not know, was out there in his car going absolutely crazy.
Witnesses say the father, who was at the wheel of this brown Lincoln in the driveway, appeared very anxious.
He was just like, running around, and like he wanted to get in the car. And when he opened the car up, the dogs come out.
Neighbors helped the man round up his dogs, all of which survived the fire, and they were taken away by animal control. Shortly afterwards, police took the father away in handcuffs and towed his car separately. I'm learning from police all new this afternoon, they let the father go. He was interrogated, but he's not officially being charged with a crime right now. Now, as for officials, they're really withholding a lot of information, but I learned from other children on the street, the 14-year-old victim girl's name is Anna, and she just graduated from Cooper Middle School. She was about to start at South Cobb High School in the fall. Reporting live from Marietta, I'm Dante Renzulli, CBS 46 News.
Dante, thank you. New details tonight about the murder investigation of a woman killed after she was caught in a crossfire of a shooting at a bar in Buckhead. The victim, 25-year-old Taylor Hayden, you see her right here. She's a sister of Minnesota State Senator Jeff Hayden. You also see him there. She was visiting Atlanta with friends when she was shot to death in the parking lot of the Anchor Down Bar and Grill. Her brother believes Taylor's death was gang-related.
We're going to have to deal with this issue of gun violence and violence in our communities because we're losing far too many of our young people to gun violence.
Police say the gunman got away. Some big breaking political news out of Philly. A day before the opening of the Democratic National Convention, Party Chair Debbie Wasserman Schultz is announcing she is going to step down when it's over. Former presidential candidate Bernie Sanders demanded she give up the post after thousands of emails were leaked suggesting committee members favored Hillary Clinton during the primary elections. Congresswoman Marcia Fudge of Ohio will serve as the chair of this week's convention, and Vice Chair Donna Brazile is going to lead the party through the election. Meantime, supporters of Bernie Sanders are hitting the streets of Philadelphia in protest. Many of them say they are outraged over the emails. Coming up, we're taking you live to Philadelphia for more on what the protesters are demanding and the latest on the investigation that's coming up your way in about 10 minutes. In less than 30 minutes, you're going to see Hillary Clinton and her running mate, Senator Tim Kaine, sit down for their first joint interview since the VP announcement. And during the 60 Minutes interview, Kaine talked about Donald Trump's insults against Clinton. Here's a preview.
She's done a good job of letting the water go off her back on this. That's not the way I feel. When I see this, crooked Hillary, or I see the lock her up, it's just ridiculous. It is ridiculous. It is beneath the character of the kind of dialogue we should have, because we got real serious problems to solve. And look, most of us stopped the name-calling thing about 5th grade.
Again, you can catch the full interview tonight on 60 Minutes. It's airing here in just about 25 minutes or so on CBS 46. Right now, plenty of delegates from Metro Atlanta are heading to 800 miles of Philadelphia for the convention. And among the Georgians, a man with a long family history of politics, Jason Carter, the grandson of President Jimmy Carter and a former state senator. Today, Tracy Hutchins sat down with him.
He's a great-grandfather to me, and he's a great-grandfather to my 2 boys.
Jason Carter has an undeniable sparkle in his eyes when he talks about his grandfather, Jimmy Carter. The former president's legacy will be honored during a video Tuesday night at the Democratic National Convention in Philadelphia. And Jason Carter will be in front of a national audience to present it.
Introducing a video that my grandfather has made and talking a little bit about my grandparents and, frankly, their remarkable story of love and faith. And, they just celebrated their 70th wedding anniversary.
And we talked about your grandfather's legacy, in watching him recover in remission. How's he doing these days?
He's doing great. We, as you know, it's been almost a year since he was diagnosed with cancer, and he faced that diagnosis with the exact same faith and grace and strength that we've all come to expect. And today, because of the miracles of science and the power of prayer and all the other things that have gone into this last year, there's no cancer in his body, and he's feeling great.
And Jason says his grandfather has shown no signs of slowing down anytime soon.
No, he is spending his days the way he always has. I mean, he's very engaged in the work of the Carter Center and in their peace programs and our health programs. He is very engaged, teaching Sunday school right now as we speak in Plains today. So he has not lost a step at all.
In Atlanta, Tracy Hutchins, CBS 46 News.
You're going to hear more from Jason Carter this week as the Democrats officially nominate Hillary Clinton for president, and also what he says Democrats need to do to stop Donald Trump. And coming up new tonight at 11, we're hearing from another Georgian heading to the convention. Lucy McBath is from Marietta and has been an outspoken advocate of gun control. Her son was killed at a Jacksonville, Florida gas station for playing loud music 4 years ago. McBath will be speaking at the convention Tuesday night along with other moms who've lost kids to gun violence.
And I know he's safe. So he's good. I don't have to worry about him anymore, which really gives me the ability now to go forth and to be worried and concerned about someone else other than my child, and to do the work so that I can try to save someone else's child.
Much more from Lucy McBath tonight on CBS 46 News at 11. And I just checked the speaking schedule for the Philly convention, and right before First Lady Michelle Obama, former presidential candidate Bernie Sanders will address the convention and the country in prime time tomorrow. And tonight, the Vermont senator is starting our Sunday show roundup. The former presidential candidate went on CNN State of the Union before the news broke of DNC Chair Debbie Wasserman Schultz resigning. He said the email leaks proved that the DNC wasn't fair to his campaign.
Well, I think it's outrageous, but it is not a great shock to me. I think, as I said, it's what we talked about 6 months ago. I mean, there's no question to my mind, and I think no question to any objective observer's mind, that the DNC was supporting Hillary Clinton and was in opposition to our campaign.
On NBC's Meet the Press, Clinton's Republican presidential challenger Donald Trump said recent changes to his proposed ban on foreigners entering our country from countries compromised by terrorism is an expansion of his Muslim ban. The host pushed Trump on how he would handle immigrants from France, Germany, and Spain.
Extreme vetting. Tough word.
Yeah.
Extreme vetting.
What does that look like?
We have to have tough. We're going to have tough standards. And if a person can't prove that they're from an area, and if a person can't prove what they have to be able to prove, they're not coming into this country.
On CBS's Face the Nation, President Obama criticized Trump's plans to apply religious tests to immigration.
I think the kinds of rhetoric that we've heard too often from Mr. Trump and others is ultimately helping to do ISIL's work for us.
And tonight we're learning former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg will endorse Hillary Clinton in a convention speech. Analysts say the independent, who considered his own presidential run this year, could boost Clinton's efforts to reach independent voters. Tomorrow, Gwinnett County District Attorney Danny Porter is supposed to get a report on a fire that killed a mom and her 2 daughters. It's been 5 months since the bodies of Kathy Patterson and her daughters Kayla and Madeline were found in their home. The coroner ruled they died of smoke inhalation. Their husband and father, Brent Patterson, was not hurt. The medical examiner said the fire was accidental, but in an exclusive interview, Porter told investigative reporter Karen Greer the ruling was premature and his office is looking into criminal aspects of the case. Porter says it could take another 30 days to review the report and decide whether criminal charges should be filed. Happening tomorrow, a student who wounded 6 classmates at Heritage High School in Conyers is getting out of prison on early release. You see him here. Anthony T.J. Solomon was 15 when the shooting took place in the lobby of Rockdale County High School. That was back in 1999. The shooting took place 1 month after the Columbine High School shooting in Colorado that killed 13 people and injured 21 others. Taking their beef to the streets tonight, protesters are marching in the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection ahead of the Democratic National Convention. We're taking you live to Philly to show you why. And here in Metro Atlanta today, why a congregation was breaking more than just bread with our men and women in blue.
A few strong thunderstorms are moving through parts of Metro Atlanta. We'll take a look at those and track them after the break.
You're watching CBS 46 News. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter.